What's up guys, my name is Ace, and yesterday we got that massive dump of information on all things Vanguard and Warzone integration with the Warzone Pacific, and there was so much information in there I had to separate this into separate videos so I could cover it with enough detail. And in today's video, I wanted to talk all about the Warzone Pacific update. I want to look at the timeline of events and what we can expect to see going forward as far as the timeline goes and when we will actually transition into the new map, when the new anti-cheat is coming. I also wanted to have a look at a bunch of the new screenshots that they shared of the new Warzone Pacific Map, which by the way is called Caldera. And then of course I just wanted to share all of my thoughts on this. And starting it off, let's have a look at the timeline of events first. So when Vanguard first launches, we aren't actually going to be seeing any real changes here to Warzone. Instead, on November 18th, this is when Operation Flashback starts in Warzone. And with this, Operation Flashback is going to be a limited time mode, and it features plenty of surprises that cover Verdansk's action-packed history. So with this, it does appear to be a separate mode, and it looks like they're just going to be bringing back a lot of elements that we saw in Verdansk since Warzone launched. So perhaps certain map elements will be reverted to the original. Maybe we're just going to be seeing limited time event sort of things come back. So maybe we will see a location where zombies appear like we saw for that one event leading up to Verdansk 84. Maybe we're going to see red doors return and bunkers reopen so you can do Easter eggs for the bunkers. These are all just guesses at this point, but essentially this is supposed to be that nostalgic sort of limited time mode to look back on the history of Verdansk before it is gone. And with this particular mode, you'll be able to get 2 unique rewards, an emblem for participating in the event, and an animated calling card for anybody that wins in this mode. Then, starting on November 24th in Warzone, there will be Caldera hints that drop in Verdansk, so various missions that you can complete that will reveal a little bit more information on the new Caldera map. Finally, for Verdansk, on November 30th, this will be the end of Verdansk. It looks like this will be spanning over 2 days, so November 30th and December 1st. And this is likely going to be an event similar to what we saw when they transitioned to Verdansk 84. So something special is going to go on that marks the end of Verdansk. Maybe a big nuke will go off and they'll destroy Verdansk once again. I don't really know, but in either case, this is going to mark the end of Verdansk in Warzone. And then on December 2nd, for anyone that owns Vanguard, you will be getting the first access to the new map, Caldera. And on this day, if you don't own Vanguard, you won't be able to play Caldera. You'll just be able to play Rebirth, because Verdansk is gone at that point. But then on December 3rd, this is when Caldera will be available for everyone. Even if you don't own Vanguard, you will get access to Caldera on December 3rd. So you only get that 1 day early access if you own Vanguard, which I think is actually totally fair, and I understand why they do that. They're trying to sell as many copies of Vanguard as possible. And yeah, that's pretty much the timeline of events leading up to the integration. However, we didn't talk about anti-cheat yet. For the Ricochet anti-cheat, on November 5th, the server-side improvements to anti-cheat are coming with Vanguard for Vanguard, but they're only going to be applying to Vanguard at that point. So this isn't the kernel-level driver or anything that automatically detects hacks on your PC. Instead, it's the server-side algorithm that's going to be analyzing accounts and finding suspicious accounts automatically using machine learning. Then, on December 2nd, this is when we're getting the full-on Ricochet anti-cheat for Warzone. So we're getting the kernel-level anti-cheat, which, like I said, that's going to be running on your PC, and detecting whether or not you have a cheat installed. And on top of that, we're going to get the server-side updates for Ricochet for Warzone, because before then, it's just going to be for Vanguard. And then we don't have a confirmed date yet, but after that point, we will eventually be seeing the PC kernel-level driver for Vanguard as well. So that's the timeline of everything. Now let's talk about the Pacific integration in general. Once this integrates on December 2nd for early access, December 3rd for everyone else, we're going to have our standard Battle Royale modes where you can use everything. You can use your Cold War weapons, your Modern Warfare weapons, or your Vanguard weapons on the new map. However, there's also going to be 2 modes that they add separately called Vanguard Royale and Vanguard Plunder. And in these particular modes, we can only use Vanguard weapons. You can't use your Cold War or Modern Warfare weapons. You can use your operators from Cold War and Modern Warfare, just not the weapons from there. So everybody's going to be sort of on a level playing field. Also, the meta is going to be a lot easier to handle with a smaller pool of weaponry, which I think is great. And in these specific modes, we're also going to be seeing dogfighting, which doesn't appear to be coming to the regular Battle Royale modes at this point, at least. It looks like it's just going to be limited to the Vanguard modes. But with this, we have access to planes that can actually shoot, and you can kill people that are on the ground with them. You can also dogfight with other planes and try and take other planes down. And there is some counterplay to this as well. There is going to be an anti-air truck that allows you to deal with planes that are in the air. You could also be using your launchers or your LMGs. And apparently there's also going to be stationary anti-air turrets that are scattered around the map. So on paper, at least, it looks like there's going to be plenty of ways to deal with people that are up there in planes just trying to pick everybody off. And I hope they balance this well. I think this could be a lot of fun if it's balanced properly, if it's not way too overpowered to be in a plane, or they could go too far in the other direction and make the planes basically useless for anything other than transportation. We'll just have to wait and see how it balances, but it sounds pretty exciting at least. As for the regular Battle Royale modes outside of these Vanguard modes, they say that we will be able to use ATVs, SUVs, helicopters, and all of those things that we are currently seeing in Warzone and currently have access to. So if you have skins for those vehicles, for instance, you'll still be able to use them in the regular Battle Royale modes in Warzone. And I kind of like what they've done here with this. One of my big concerns with this integration is the amount of weapons that we're going to have access to is going to be way too overwhelming. There's going to be so much going on with weapon metas, and it's just going to be impossible to keep track of everything and like which guns are good at what and which ones are better in various areas. I like that they're including some modes that are just going to have Vanguard weapons in them, and those are the ones I feel I'm going to be gravitating toward. On top of that, I also like that they're not taking everybody's content away that they've potentially paid for. If you bought bundles for a particular weapon, for instance, it would really suck if you just immediately lost access to that for all of Warzone. So you'll still have your ability to use those in the other modes. But with that, I now wanted to have a look at the new screenshots that we got for Caldera, which is looking amazing, by the way. I love the color palette of this. There's lots of color here, lots of blues and greens and even reds in the soil. And I'm very excited for that sort of an environment. It's also worth noting that on Caldera, there's an active volcano, which, of course, I'm sure at some point down the road, that will be erupting and changing the map. That's kind of just a no-brainer. Of course, that's going to happen at some point down the road. Then in this image, something that I noticed here, if you zoom in right onto this point here, it looks like grapples will be sticking around for this particular map, so that's great to see. I was a bit worried with a World War II sort of setting and theme that we wouldn't have grapples, but they're going to be there. You can also see the plunder extraction pad or helicopter pad right there, which is pretty cool to see. Then with this image, we can see sort of a village that's set on a river. I really like that things are spaced out a lot more. And this is something I've noticed across all of these screenshots, is it seems like the action is going to be spread out a little bit more. And a lot of it's going to take place more in the open, not inside massive buildings or anything. A lot of the combat looks like it's going to be taking place outside. After that, we've got a little bit of a teaser of dogfighting, and in the background, it looks like we've got like a mining operation or something going on in that particular point of interest. Then we get a nice image of this hangar and airstrip. Presumably, this is where you're going to go to find the planes that you're going to be flying around and dogfighting with, or at least one of the locations. Perhaps there will be other locations as well. Then with this image right here, we can see a player using the Volk. And it looks like we've got another sort of village area where there's quite a bit of buildings, but again, they're fairly spread out here. A lot of the action looks like it's still going to be taking place outdoors. And personally, I think that's going to be very refreshing for the gameplay after playing Verdansk for so long. Also in this image, it appears that this is one of those anti-air trucks that you'll have access to, so you can take down planes with it. Next up, we have this image here where in the background you can see that building that had the grapple point on it from the first image that I showed you guys. Looks like it's quite a bit lower in elevation compared to that, so it looks like that's going to be a really big high point on the map. However, in order to get up there quickly, it looks like they're going to be bringing those gondolas back. And then finally, for new screenshots of Caldera, we've got this particular one here on the beach with some surfboards and stuff. Overall, this map looks gorgeous. I love the color palette that they're using here, and I can't wait to get my hands on this. And with that, that pretty much wraps it up for all of the new information that we got regarding the integration. There's still one big question that's kind of up in the air right now, at least at the time of recording this video. I'm not 100% sure which client Warzone will be playing on, especially for console. It looks like we're not going to be on the Modern Warfare client anymore in order to play Warzone, but we don't know if it's transitioning into the Vanguard client yet, or if it's going to be its own client, so you have to launch it separately. I'm sure we'll get more news and information on that as time goes on. And I know there's a lot of speculation about this. I just haven't seen any official confirmation that it's definitely going to be on the Vanguard client or it's definitely going to be on its own client. It just looks like it's not going to be on the Modern Warfare one. And also, I should mention, Rebirth is going to be sticking around even after the integration. So for those that like Rebirth, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Perhaps down the road, they will replace Rebirth with a new small Battle Royale map. And I kind of hope that we will see that at some point, but I think they're going to keep that around at least for the time being. So all of the hype will be focused on Caldera. And with that, I'd like to know in the comment section below, what do you think of how they're handling the Vanguard integration into Warzone? Are you really excited for this integration? Are you excited for the new map? Or do you think you would rather just stick around on Verdansk? And also, what do you think about the fact that they're going to have modes where you can only use Vanguard weapons? Is that something that you're interested in and will likely check out? Or do you think you'll just be sticking to the regular modes where you can use Modern Warfare and Cold War guns as well? Just let me know all of those thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.